So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this, and welcome to the Down the Lane podcast. 3 games into the season and 7 points on the board, which 2 wins and our first opening day draw at Averley. So good evening, everyone. We've got a full house tonight. Evening, Cam.
Evening, how are we?
Yeah, all good this end. Jacob, good evening.
Good evening.
And good evening to you, Miles.
Hello, mates. Good to be back.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, so obviously opening day, Averley, 2-2 draw, took the lead twice and then let them equalise. And I think my biggest disappointment, was taking the lead with so little left of the game and not seeing it out. Obviously, some people say there was a foul on Eastman, which was a foul. I think Eastman went down a little bit easy for me, for a player of his, his stature in the game. But I think, that's what players do these days, and referees normally will buy it. But obviously, we've seen some officiating in the first 3 games of the league that show that maybe the Isthmian League referees won't be buying stuff like that. So, I thought it was a good performance in all, but we definitely... The one thing I've liked about all 3 performances, and obviously we'll track onto the other 2 in a minute with you guys, is that we're playing very quick football, and we can go from our box to their box very, very quickly. And that's the sort of that's the sort of play that gets teams to the top of the league. I remember when West Ham was up the top a few years back, they actually showed on Match of the Day how quick West Ham were going from box to box with Antonio. And I think there was one point where we scored a goal and it was like 18 seconds. And after all the pundits were saying, you can't defend against that because you're totally in an attacking mindset. And all of a sudden, they're there scoring a goal. So yeah, I'm loving that. Loving that part of it. What was your thoughts, Miles? You were at Averley, Cam and Jacob, you weren't there. Your thoughts on Averley?
Yeah, as you say, I thought it was a solid performance. Always difficult to know like what teams are going to be like, but I thought that Averley, like I said in the prediction video, will be up there, up at the second. They haven't had a game plan, just ruffle the feathers a bit, a few long balls. Lots of threat from set pieces. I think that was probably the main concern from the day, is how we dealt with crosses into the box, how we dealt with their physical threat. I don't think we stood up to it too well at times. They had a couple of chances off the back of it, which they ultimately scored from in the end. But yeah, particular standouts was Egbury getting a goal on debut, and obviously did well, which I'll let Cam touch on in a minute with the next game too. And then I thought Reece had a decent game, and then Hayden from left back played particularly well, considering it was not his position. I thought he stood in excellently and did a stellar job at left back. So that was impressive. But yeah, like you say, just disappointing to lose it at the end, lose the lead. But yeah, still a solid point away from home. As Steve said, you can't knock that in this division. So yeah, overall pretty happy, mate, with Averley.
Yeah, and you two guys have obviously seen the highlights. Any thoughts on the Averley game before we come to you for Three Bridges, Cam?
Yeah, obviously frustrating to concede so late on. We scored late on, which is always a bonus. You expect to win that 2-1, but a point away from home against a fellow contender for the title, we can't really complain. Just a bit disappointed to how late we conceded and in the fashion we did so.
Yeah, and I think the week before, I know it was only a pre-season friendly, but they played Southend in a big game down there and only got beat 1-0. So it shows that they have got quality in their side. We touched on that, Miles, in the prediction one, and we know that they are going to be up there. They will be a side that are going to be up there at the end of the season. So I will say as well, Kai's goal. I don't know how he scored it. He was down on the deck and
some determination
to score from. Yeah, 100%. And then obviously we've seen that. We've seen that in the next couple of games. So yeah, that was quickly followed, obviously 3 days later, by our first home game of the season to Three Bridges. A game that, Cam, you was at that game. Jacob, you still haven't managed due to work commitments to get to one yet, but Cam, you were there. Surprisingly, and I'm going to say this before before we talk about the game, surprisingly, I cannot believe that Three Bridges, with the display that they put in the second half, are sitting at the bottom of the table with 0 points and 3 defeats. I know we said, Miles, how
Their fixtures were absolutely hell, weren't
their
they?
fixtures, their early
I feel a
fixtures
bit sorry for them.
are a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I still think that the performance that they put in against us. But then we've not seen the other games, and I've said this on probably 2 or 3 pods, and I'm going to probably say it on another 10 or 15 throughout this season. We are everybody's cup final. Everybody is going to want to beat Eastbourne Borough because of the stature of the club, because of the fact that everyone sees us as a money club, and the fact that we went through the leagues from the county league right up to the national league. And we've been in the National League set up for over 20 years. So we are the big club, that have come down. And so, for me, everyone's going to raise their game against us. But Cam, you were there. What did you think on the Three Bridges game?
Definitely a game of two halves. I think starting off really strong, pressing unbelievable. Nash, McQueen, Egbury, Corbett. They didn't really have much time on the ball. Three Bridges. They looked a bit shaky. Obviously, their keeper went off injured, which is sort of a 50-50 when the sub keeper sort of comes on. You don't really know if there's going to be a massive golf in quality, but to be fair to the second choice keeper, or I'm assuming he is, he did quite well for Three Bridges, I thought.
Yeah.
But we weren't, even in the first half, I thought defensively we were very prone to those midfield runners breaking, ball sort of in behind, cutting through the defenders. And if it wasn't for Lewis Carey, I think we could have, on another day, been 2-0 down quite early on. Fortunately, we weren't. We managed to get the goal through which is a massive plus, because set pieces are so important at this level, any level, but especially the Isthmian. And obviously the National League South, we've seen it over the years. Great ball from Corbett and an even better header from Nash, proper flicked header. You think Raul Jimenez in the Premier League. You think even back to sort of Mikel Antonio, even some players like that. Really good header, flicks right across, left the keeper no chance. And, good thing about that, I think that really kick-started us. I think after that goal, we went up a couple of more gears. We obviously, who's got it now? Egbury scored down the wing, who was a massive positive. I thought I was really impressed with him. Direct, two-footed as well, which was a massive plus. Took his man, cut inside and beat the keeper. And, half an hour in or so, you're 2-0 up. You're looking the stronger side. But that being said, Three Bridges were always a threat. I mean, they scored previous season, they scored over 100 goals between about 3 players. They're always going to be a threat. They're not used to losing either. They'd have been disappointed to lose 3-2 at home to Dartford. They'd be looking at Eastbourne and think, can we get something here? They know we're a brand new side. Big game, newly relegated. And obviously we get that sort of third goal right on half time. Really good header, another great ball in from Cray, good header from Josh Reese, and you think, okay, 3-0 up at half time, first home game, let's go and get some more, But that being said, it could have been 5-3 at half time. We perhaps a bit fortunate not to concede. Lewis Carey was excellent, I thought, throughout both halves. And then going into the second half, we just maybe got a bit complacent, a bit tired with all the pressing. Sort of lost that. I don't want to say hunger, but we had I'd say we had sort of a breather the first 20 minutes where, we've kind of lost that intensity, lost that patterns of play. In the first half, I was really, really impressed with Freddie Carter and Hayden. Freddie Carter on the right and Hayden on the left, sort of making those wide runs and the wingers coming in more central to allow that overlap, which opened Three Bridges up. And we didn't do that once in the second half. I think Eastman and Reese sort of got overrunning that midfield at times. And individually, I thought they had 2 good games, but when it comes to that threat that Three Bridges possessed in that game. They were breaking from midfield and passing it wide, or you know, the quick lads up top running behind, which caused us problems. Three Bridges, as I said, not used to losing. They didn't give up, and they managed to get 2 goals at it. And I think, as Steve King said in that post match, they were the much better side second half, and they'll probably be very disappointed not to get a point on the board.
Yeah, and I think probably their game literally 3 days before their opening game of the season, where, like you say, they lost 3-2 at home to Dartford. I think that would have been a big learning curve for them as well, because they were 2-0 up early. I think half an hour they were 2-0 up. Charlie Bennett got a couple of goals, and I think Dartford got one just before half time, if I remember rightly, and then obviously came out in the second half and scored 2. So, obviously you would have thought that by looking at the passage of play and the goals, that Three Bridges have probably dominated the first half there, and Dartford have come out and done it in the second half. So I think it's a learning curve for everybody, and I think the fact that we've had that learning curve and we've seen that look, you can't take your foot off the gas. We are a decent side. We've got some. When you look at the quality of players, I mean, we've said, Miles, me and you in the chats we've had, that we've signed some real quality. We've signed players that should be playing probably in a league or maybe 2 leagues above, and we can't take our foot off the gas just because we're playing, because these younger players that are coming through the Isthmian League structure, similar to what Eastbourne Borough did years ago. Three Bridges have just come up. What we did years ago when we went through the leagues, the players have stayed together, so that they know each other's game and stuff like that. Miles, your thoughts on Three Bridges?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, how fun was the first half? I think we haven't had that exciting a half down the lane in a long, long time. And like Cam said, it could have been any score, really, couldn't it? I mean, we missed 2 practically open goals. I know they weren't open goals, but I mean, what was the keeper doing off that back pass that he then headed in? I don't know. It was a shambles.
And you know what? In two ways, quickly. I know Cam said it was a game of 2 halves, but I think it was a game of 2 keepers, but in 2 ways, because I think the first game, I'm not quite sure what he was up to, but then when their sub keeper came on, I thought he'd done really well, and I think it was if it hadn't been for him, it could have been but if it hadn't been for him, it could have been a lot more. And if it hadn't been for Lewis Carey, it could have been a lot more. So I mean, we could have seen far more than 5 goals down there. But yeah, I think. Sorry, I've interjected.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, but then Nash had a chance in the which he clipped the ball, which was a decent opportunity after he rounded the keeper. So it was just crazy game. But I think it highlighted probably our main issues currently, which are legs in midfield. Like with Cam said, recently he's obviously got quality. But yeah, maybe he struggled later stages of the game, and then when the lad Drace came on as well, he's not a spring chicken anymore either. So it was good to have Sheaf back in the next game, which I'll get onto in a second. But yeah, I think legs in midfield, and then just the defence currently. I mean, Freddie had a great game Saturday, but right back was again a problem, and then Phillips so far has not been that convincing for me, which I think been one of the main negatives from the start of the season. We know he's got his quality. He played for Hornchurch multiple times, won the National League South playoffs last season. He's definitely a good player, but I'm just yet to see that so far from him. He spoke a bit on his interview regarding sort of composure on the ball and be able to pick passes, and I think that's been the main weakness for him so far. Does well in the air, to be fair to him, wins headers, decent with duels. We did get easily beat with the second goal. He was on the sliders, lost out to the attacker, and then they were right back in the game. So I'm sure there's more to come from Phillips, but that'll be my main areas of concern. But it was just phenomenal going forward. But I think they were going to absolutely kill some teams. That's like second game, and we're already showing those sort of patterns of play, and the press was just absolutely relentless. It reminded me when Murray came in and he got his press absolutely spot on with the likes of Bamber into the box, Alexander. Addig and Courtney Clark, and just like a pack of wolves, pretty much chasing down the opposition. So, that was great to see, great fun, and it was excellently held on for the points, because I think it's one of those. If you get to April when we're a point or two shy, you look back at that game. 3 points now is as important as 3 points in April. It's cliche, but it is true.
100%.
So that was Three Bridges. Brentwood. Before we play Brentford, we signed Sam Oganteo. It's left back who was with us very, very, very briefly during the Blue period, but I've got to be honest, I can't remember anything about him, which is weird for me because I'm like an encyclopedia normally of players since COVID. So he must have slipped through the back of my mind somewhere. Sorry, Sam. But he more than made up for that on Saturday. He had a brilliant game. Elliot Johnson just come back from fitness, but he did really, really, really well. Defensively sound. Got forward well, was physical. It looked knackered by the end. He gave everything for the cause and came off with sort of 10 to go, didn't he? But he was brilliant. Looks a great addition. Played higher with Chelmsford and Maidstone. So excellent bit of business from the boys. Superb. The game in general. First half, it was just two good teams for the level, just working each other out. That's how it felt to me. I think both teams knew the importance of the game. Potentially didn't want to make too many risks. We're sort of just trying to pick our moments really and suss each other out, because it's one of those, Brentwood are much more of a physical long ball side. Like, we're not going to press them to death and jump on every loose pass like we did with Three Bridges, because that's just not Brentwood's style of play. Like, they would like to go long up to sack or satch, however you say it, and sort of play off from there. And then I think they had probably the better of the ball and more final third possession, but didn't really do much with it. I don't think Cray did much really all game from what I can remember. I mean, a decent save at the end, but can't remember any major chances they carved out. But I'm sure you boys want to say a word in him as well. But I mean, Kai Corbett's absolutely different gravy. What a boy. What a boy. I mean, the first goal is just trademark Corbett really coming his left foot, cut inside. Can't land that sort of space. I think they got a bit unfortunate, but their defender slipped over just before they may have blocked it, but we absolutely take it. And then came out second half, and everyone in the stadium was like, "Oh, Barrow, what are we doing? 3 or 4 minutes into a half again. We can see this. It's not just this season though, is it? It was the whole last season as well. I think we had about 5 games at half time last season, 1-0 up, and we managed to lose every one of them. He had a habit of coming out second half just terribly. And people on the forum saying like, "Oh, I don't know what they're saying to them at half time." I mean, come on, guys. Like, Steve King's not going to be giving some shoddy.
I can tell you now.
Team talk.
Sorry, Miles, for interrupting.
You go on, mate.
I have exclusive. It's basically pass the ball to Kai Corbett recently. That's what it seems to be.
That is the tactic.
Pass the ball to Kai Corbett. He's been out. He's been outstanding. If you said that to me last year, wow. So what is that boy on? I'd love to know what's having for breakfast.
He was good. Like, I mean, to be fair, he came in. Kai did come in. He had a really good first month or two, and then he just fell off the boil for about 2 months. He was not himself at all. And then he had a decent end of the season. I think he scored away at Chelmsford, scored against Tottenham with a free kick. So did have a decent end, but he was a bit patchy at times. But people on the forum moaning about the halftime team talk and that. I don't know. I don't think that's got much to do with it. Sometimes it can be a coincidence, but I think this has gone on for long enough where I'm not sure what it is, whether it's a mentality thing or we're just not sort of switched on enough. But I don't think it's got much to do with the halftime team talk, personally. And I think everyone sort of groaned, didn't they? One all like, we've seen this script before, but to come out with the character we did, and I thought we played very well second half. We were deserving of a more convincing win than we got. In the end, Sheaf coming on. I mean, he came on, was it for Nash 20 minutes in, which raises another talking point about striker, which I'll get you boys' opinion on in the end. But Sheaf came on, didn't really have much impact, and then he started the second half a bit slow, in my opinion. He was a bit negative. Didn't want to play forward as much as we know he can do from what we've seen in pre-season. And then as soon as I mentioned to Seb next week, I was like, Sheaf, he's got a bit of in him. He needs to be a bit braver. Picked the ball out to Kai, and then from that, it was Sheaf, and then had an excellent game for me. He was one of our best players second half. Stonky finish from Kai. And then I thought we just did quite well to just generally control the game. They didn't really, again, have had too many chances. And then McQueen bursting through, who, to be fair to him, he's not a striker, but he's worked his socks off, and that's the same for Nash as well. Nash has got his goal, but McQueen hasn't yet. But yeah, both just worked tirelessly for the cause, despite maybe they're not being an out-and-out 9, either of them. So that was impressive. And then, yeah, Kai getting his deserved hat-trick, which was superb. I did say on the way to Waverley that he'd get 20 goals, 20 assists. I just want that on record on the podcast now. So, yeah, just want to claim that one now.
Don't remember you saying that at all, Miles.
Seb has got evidence. He'll back me up. He's my witness. So, yeah, 4 goals, 2 assists from 3 games. I mean, we're looking good so far for 20 goals, 20 assists. But yeah, the disappointing thing was just let him back into the game again. I mean, to give Cray, I gave Cray his flowers for Three Bridges because he was outstanding. We definitely wouldn't have won without him, but I thought it was poor Saturday. The first goal is a difficult one because he sort of parries it into a good area for him. But I get it's challenging. He's got to get something on it. But it was still into a decent area for them to finish. And then the second goal, he doesn't commit. It's a bit like I don't know if anyone else is here for this, but Joe Wright away at Dorking a couple of years ago. I think we lost. I don't know, was it 3-1 in the end? They had 10 men. It was their first goal. They played a long ball, and I think on that one, Smithy actually said that the ball slowed up or something along those lines, and Wright didn't come to commit for it. This was worse in some extents because I think he went more into the box. He potentially could have been braver and claimed it, but he has sort of stopped before he could actually take it. I think he may have had in the back of his mind something that he was going to take him out and then cost a pen, but as it happens, Sears, very experienced, chased everything to the last second and managed to poke it home after Eastman lost him as his runner. So, yeah, that's put us on the back foot, and I could tell I was sitting in the stand second half. And, King was fuming because he just knew that, we just let him back into the game. And to be fair to Cray, he did sort of make up for it with a big save at the end, with a melee in the box, and he managed to get a decent hand to it. So, he did save us a point there. To be fair to them. So yeah, solid performance from the boys. To beat Brentwood and to be 7 points out of 9 we can't ask for too much more to start the season, don't think. Especially after playing, we said on paper it was a very hard start, and I still go along with that. Albeit Three Bridges at bottom, but they've had some great performances in their games. Yeah. Aveley will be up there, like I say, and Brentwood haven't had a slow start themselves, really beating Burgess Hill. I think they'll be up there too. So yeah, excellent work. And then we go on to touchwood a few more on paper easier games now coming up. So yeah, before we jump on to anything else, I just want to get your boys' thoughts on the striker position because Nash is now injured. We're not sure how long that's going to be. I think McQueen's done well, but I think it's clear to see his natural position isn't a 9. And then Mateo came on, and oh dear, yeah, you boys talk. I'll save myself for a second.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Oh dear. Well, don't get yourself in too much trouble, but give your fair analysis on gold.
Well, so obviously I wasn't there, so I can't give the full opinion. But from
you
what I've
last year.
Yeah, well, well, we don't speak about last year. No, true. But obviously, what I've seen of him play, as you said, and what I've seen on the forum, it's just like, and obviously speaking to my dad who was at the game as well, it's like it just looked like he didn't want to be there. It's like he said, he's the only player on the pitch on Saturday that just didn't run, like didn't do anything. You're just like, you're paid to be at Eastbourne Borough, and whether you're a small club, big club, it's a privilege to play in front of those fans, and to show that you don't care is kind of insulting a little bit. It's like,
I think it's difficult to say that you don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows.
His body language showed that, though, Baz. That's what.
Nobody knows what's going on.
We don't know that, but body language.
I will say that I thought he wasn't jumping for balls. He wasn't really pushing for balls, and there were times when, I mean, he was. He didn't look, to me, he didn't look like he wanted to be now. Whether that's because he's disappointed he's not starting, whether it's because, we don't know the reason. But for me, the one thing I will say is if he is to play a part in our season this year, which I think, then we need to see a massive improvement from the 10-15 minutes that we saw on Saturday. That's all I'll say. Because I don't want to get myself into trouble, but and it's quite easy for me. But yeah, so Disappointed would be the words that I thought on Gold on Saturday. But at the end of the day, I mean, we've just going back to Saturday. I had Brentwood down to win the league, and I still think they will be a big part. I think that if they're anywhere, if they're anywhere within a shout, they've got obviously big money behind them now. And if they're anywhere within a shout in January, February time, then players will be coming into Brentwood. And that was one of the reasons why I predicted them to win the league. While I'm saying that, don't forget, I'm going to put it on the forum tomorrow, and we're going to post it a couple of times this week. Get your entries in, guys. We're going to do a competition. It's going to be very much golf scoring. Miles will tell you all the scoring. But it's going to be basically however many positions you are away, and the lowest scorer will win the prize. So basically, it's going to be a £50 prize to the winner. We just want your your finishing positions for every team in the league.
And we're giving you a free game head start, so.
Yeah, you've seen a bit of football already. Me and Miles already done ours, and we vowed that we won't change them. So we did give you a few pointers to what we'd gone for in the last pod. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that and see that. And then obviously, all roads on Saturday now lead to Flamingo Park. Before we talk about that, we're just going to go and have a quick word from our sponsors.
Hi guys, I'm Gary. I'm the owner of Polegate Car Sales. If you're looking to buy or sell your vehicle anywhere in the country, I am your man. We're open 7 days a week. Sunday is appointment only, but Ben works 6 till 10 any hour God sends. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay, so like we say, on Saturday, all roads lead to Flamingo Park. And make sure, if you're driving there, make sure that you get the right one, because there are two. They've got a new ground. And Miles was saying earlier that the sat-nav takes you to the old ground. So make sure you're heading for Flamingo Park. So Cray Wanderers on Saturday. 3 games, 2 draws. Haven't conceded many goals. I think they've only conceded 3 goals in their 3 games. So going to be a challenge to score. But obviously with our attacking lineup and the fact that, in our games, we've scored 8 in 3. Going to be over, a bit of a battle there. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Jacob? We come to you first. What's your thoughts on Saturday?
Excited. Obviously, this can be my first game going. Actually going to go watch a football game, which is a shock. This is quite nice on a Saturday. But excited for it. I'd say in terms of attacking, as what I've seen in the past 3 games, I think we've been brilliant, to be honest. As you said, it's been exciting to watch, but it is the main issue is the defending at the moment. Sometimes there's a lack of concentration. I mean, we might as well have not had a midfield for the Three Bridges game, because I don't think any of the teams had a midfield, if I'm honest. But I just think this will be a different type of test for us, which I think might be good in terms of our mentality going forward for the season. I think it'll be a very close game, but I think we'll make out of it, because I think the difference, and we spoke about this when we've had conversations, Baz, is the mentality. I think so far, obviously there's only been 3 games, is a little bit different compared to last year. As you said, when we went 1-1 on Saturday, if that was last year, we would have lost that game. 100% lost that game. But the difference is, I think, is the mentality. So I'm hoping with, obviously, the wins under the belts, the back-to-back wins, that will be 3 wins in a row. And I think 7 points out of 9, I think anybody, and this includes on the forum, anybody would have taken that at the start. So we cannot moan.
100%.
We can moan about, we see little things here and there, but I think we just need to sit back and appreciate this team at the moment, because I think they're doing really well.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think that, like I say, I mean, Miles said he was watching Steve King in the second half. I was near enough sat right behind him in the first half on Saturday, and he wasn't very happy then. And he's still, you could tell by what he was. I mean, not happy as in shouting at the players, but he's still trying to get his plan across to the players. He's still trying to tell them, look, you this is how you've got to play the game. If he goes in front, you've got to drop back, and if he's got his back to goal, you haven't. So so I think they're still learning, and I think to get the points, like we knew we were playing two big clubs, two clubs that will be 100% in the top. I think all three clubs will be in the top half. I mean, Three Bridges, like we said in the previous show when we was going through the sides and through the league, the really, really hard start for them, massive. But then they'll have an easy an easy period, or a team or a spell that should be a little bit easier. And we all know what it's like in football. Football is very much a confidence game. If you're confident, you're attacking, and you're winning games of football, then it's quite easy to win the next game of football. And we found that, I think the start of last season with Matt Gray, we found that we couldn't really win games, but we weren't conceding many goals, and that became the norm. It became the norm that we were going to lose 1-0 or weren't going to concede many goals, or maybe nick a draw. And so I think it's very much that is it in football. It's the momentum and the roller coaster that you're on, and at the moment we're riding that roller coaster. Cam, you've got cam problems, but Cam's got cam problems. You've got camera problems. But yeah. So your thoughts on Cray Wanderers on Saturday?
Yeah, I think the main sort of worry going into that game is that obviously Egbury and Phipps didn't play. I haven't heard anything regarding injury, and obviously Nash is injured now for however long. I'm assuming King's going to go McQueen, who I think has been excellent, worked very hard. But we're scoring goals, conceding a lot as well. It'll be another tough game. I think, if I'm correct, Cray Wanderers 1-1, lost 2.
Don't know one yet, mate. 2 draws.
No, they've drawn 2 and lost 1.
2 draws, lost 1. But at this stage, it doesn't really mean much. Be a very tough game, and looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I've got family commitments, but yeah, looking forward to it. We'll be keeping an eye out for the result, and hopefully we can remain to our unbeaten start.
And Miles, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, firstly, it's our first of 2 trips at least. Obviously, excluding cup competitions, we might get drawn against these teams to Flamingo Park, because Whiteleaf played there this season as well. So this is the main Flamingo Park visit though with Cray Wanderers. New ground for pretty much everyone, I think, because it's only been built in the last few years. It looks quite nice though, from what I've seen. It's like quite a tidy ground, Astro as well, which I think probably suits us at the moment. I think we've been playing well at home, so which is decent. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that Sheaf's fit to start. I think he's massive for our midfield. Like I say, legs, and I'd love to see Reece start in the 10, because he's just so much more effective. And not that he's not done a bad job in terms of the centre mid. I think he's been solid, but just going forward, he adds so much. I think he's absolutely unplayable for midfields at this level. And I'd love to see Reece in the 10. Striker is the concern again. I just don't think Steve King trusts Gold to start. So I think it will be McQueen. But if Gold does play, we want to shake him. We want to see a bit more from him. Because when I put it on the forum, it's just sort of a sad situation, because when he came in from is it Kings Lynn? He played up before, I think it was.
Yep.
Signed from Kings Lynn. Everyone was buzzing because he's just goal every other game in National League North. Did so well under Tommy over 2 different spells. Played a bit of Football League, I'm pretty sure. Played in different other countries. Great football experience, and he's been about. We haven't seen that so far. If Gold does start, we'd love to have his best performance in the Borough shirt, because we come in here to give our opinion, and that may be positive sometimes, it might be constructive or negative. But ultimately, we want everyone wearing Borough colours to play well. It's not a particularly we don't want to go after players or bring them down. We just want to give our opinions and try and be fair as possible. So
absolutely,
if gold can prove everyone wrong, then that's superb. No, brilliant. But yeah, I think we're in a difficult spot from what I gather contractually with him currently. I did put it on the forum, but I think we're in a tricky place because people will be like, "Oh, just get rid of him," or or just find someone to sell him or whatever. But I believe Gold's on a full-time contract, which he understandably doesn't want to mutually terminate because, from a financial standpoint, why would you? If you're doing part-time hours, if I was doing part-time hours and get a full-time pay, I'd be happy days. All good. Yeah, exactly. So he's not going to terminate it. If that is what's the club want, I can't speak for the club, of course, because that's their decision. Currently, he's not getting enough minutes to have any match sharpness or to put the performances in to get himself a move elsewhere. So yeah, we're in a sort of difficult spot. So, and then I said in there as well. I mean, the only way he would leave is if that we didn't play him. But then, would you want to risk quite an experienced player? I imagine he's quite a big player in the dressing room. From us, I think he's a bit of a character, from what I understand. Well, do you want to risk him potentially causing disharmony? I'm not saying he would do that, by the way. I'm just putting it out there that if his character isn't that way inclined, upsetting a big player, as it were, may cause issues in the dressing room, which we don't want in a promotion challenging season. So, yeah, but hopefully Gold's character is of the way that he's going to get his head down, he's going to work hard, and he's going to try and get his way back into the team, because it's definitely an option for him to play, because we are lacking strikers currently. So, if he can have the season of his life and show us something we haven't seen from him, that'd be amazing. So that's what I'm going to say on Gold. Yeah, just other general thoughts on the game. I mean, it's any game away from home's difficult, but I think we've showed enough to the point where we have enough to beat Cray at the moment. The games that I was more fearful of are teams like Brentwood, who got to the playoff final last year, Aveley, who were in the division above. I think games like Cray Wanderers, especially on the form we're on, and they're not on form, we've got to be taking advantage of it and going there for 3 points. I know a point's not a terrible result, but I feel like we got to be getting 3 to keep ourselves in the hunt. Not saying it's a must-win by any means, but I'm just saying that Cray Wanderers away, shouldn't be fearful of it as East Borough Football Club, in my opinion.
There's your title there. There's your title there. Must win.
Man, you got to put your neck on the line sometimes, haven't you? You got to put your neck on the line. So yeah, that's. I'm going to go for a fairly comfortable 3-1 win for us. I feel like we might concede still, but yeah, we'll have enough. We'll have enough to overpower them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've only scored 2 goals themselves, only conceded 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to think that we could win. I'm going to go for a 2-0. A 2-0
clean
win.
sheet.
Yeah. Jacob, what do you reckon?
Well, I don't. Oh God, I did tell you what, Baz. I did think 2-0, but then Miles just reminded the clean sheet record, so I'm going to go 2-1 just to be a little bit conservative.
Okay. When was the last time he kept a clean out as well? Just ever?
Yeah, Saturday.
When
this Saturday coming.
I mean, when was it? long time ago.
Go look at this.
Cam, your thoughts on a score prediction for Saturday?
I'm going to go for another 3-2 win.
Wow.
Not again.
He's putting his foot.
What's the storyline there, Cam? Is it going to be a 2-0 down job and come back to win 3-2, or are we going to make it nervy?
Well, I think that'd be better than holding on for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
So. But
all I'm going to say is if we win 3-2, and there's 911 people there, then we should have a new rule at Eastbourne Borough that we only have 911. We only had 911 tickets available, and then we're sold out. Right? That's our capacity for this year, because I'll take that all season. Obviously, we're sitting in 4th at the minute with our 7 points. You've got Carl Shorten at the top and Dartford second. Dartford this Saturday are at home to Welling, who have also won 2 games of football this season so far, while Carl Shorten travelled to Stanway Rovers, who have only so far out of the 3 games managed to draw. So you would think that Carl Shorten will probably win. I think Welling at home for Dartford is going to be a hard game, and Leatherhead, who are above us, they're playing Malden and Tiptree, who are also sitting on 2 points at the minute, I think. So a couple of draws. So but I think we've got to start looking at the teams above us now. I think we've hit the ground running, which is what we needed to do. And we've said, we've played two of the teams that we think will end up in the mix at the end of the season in whichever way. So let's hope we're all right, because we've all predicted a win. Let's hope we're sitting on 10 points on Saturday, and we can all enjoy the game. Cam, you won't be there. You've got family commitments, but the rest of us will. So we will hopefully see everybody else there. Thanks for watching tonight. We've tried to keep it a little bit shorter. We've tried not to repeat stuff. We are listening to what you say. So thanks for tonight, Jacob. Thanks, Miles. Thanks, Cam.
Thank you.
No problem.
See two of you on Saturday, and Cam, we'll see you next time you're home. And thanks, just going to say at the end, thanks to our sponsors, Gary. A couple of you have been down there to him and said that you've seen his advert on the podcast. So please, if anybody does go down there, just mention the podcast. It helps us. It helps him know that obviously he's getting some money back for his buck, if that makes sense. So yeah, it helps us massively. And don't forget, there will be the competition. I'll be posting, or Miles. I'm going to leave it to Miles because he's our stats man and he's doing the scoring. So I'm going to leave it to Miles to post up our competition. Get your entries in. Either write them down on paper or put them in the chat, but beneath the message. We'll take all the entries in, but they have to close soon. We can't carry this on for too long.
By Saturday, minimum.
Yeah, I think by Saturday night, so you will have seen 4 games of football, and you will have an idea on where teams are, how teams have started the season. I mean, 4 games out of the whole season, is nothing anyway. So, get your entries in. We've had a couple in already. Get your entries in, and also, those of you that are there, we will see you on Saturday.
Also, get your Lewis away tickets if you haven't already.
Yes, yes. Sorry, Lewis
we have
away.
got an allocation.
I might be a bit. I'm going to try and get back early for that one. I'll be festivaling, so I might try and get back early for that one.
Yeah, get your tickets because allocation's $8.50, and you never know, it might sell out. Well, I'm not sure we'll take that many. I'll think maybe 500. 600 maybe. We'll see.
Yeah,
I think we'll take it. I think we'll take a few. And it's a bank holiday weekend, so
so get your tickets
you never
now.
know.
Don't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Can
I just say something before we leave, boys?
Of course you can.
What's that?
I just want to say I think he's been brilliant on commentary, and I think you all have to agree on the highlights. I think Bobby's been absolutely brilliant. So I think we should all have an appreciation for Bobby. He's been absolutely fantastic, and we're all really proud of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was actually going to leave that until another pod because we've had 3 games. I was going to leave that to the next one, but you said it. So yeah, I think listen, there was Bobby's had a little bit of criticism, but he came up in the car with us to Averley, and we were chatting to him on the way up there about, and I think the cam thing. Having the camera on him, I think is massive. And I'll take me out to him. I think he's doing a great job. And not only is he doing a great job, for all those people that are saying, he talks too quickly or whatever else, remember, most commentators have a co-commentator. Bobby hasn't. Bobby is doing this on his own. He's trying to look down at the notes he's made because I know he's doing he's doing it very professionally. He's making notes before a game. So he's trying to look down and read his notes and, listen, if he gets the odd word wrong because he's reading something or whatever, but I think you can actually listen to Bobby's commentary, and actually, if you close your eyes, you can near enough watch the game of football, and you can see how it is. And for me, that's a great commentator. So I think Bobby's doing a fantastic job. He's only 5, 6, 7 games in, whatever he is, and I think by the end of the season, you'll find that Yeah, I think you'll find that Bobby will be up there in high regard in a lot of places. So, thanks for that, Jacob. Like I say, I was going to leave it until next week's podcast because we'll only have one game to talk about. But yeah, maybe we'll even get Bobby back for a cameo and he can tell us how he's enjoying it up there. We'll have to speak to him and see if that's possible to get him in. But if it is, so be it. But yeah, hats off, Bobby, from all of us here. You're a good friend of ours, and fantastic work, and keep it up. So thanks again for watching, guys. We will see you next week, hopefully around the same sort of time. This is going to be the time we're going to try and record on a Sunday or a Monday, and then we will hopefully have another 3 points on the board and start looking forward to our next games. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.